Advice for anybody getting into this business that wants to be in this? Listen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The purpose of tonight's podcast is to remember the life and times of the real deal Jake Slater. Now, as you know, in our previous broadcast, we addressed the mental health and suicide awareness. In this case, we will render an additional 10-bell salute before we begin telling stories of Jake, followed by a moment of silence and a sip of the old drink here. So, if you will, sir.
Sir. Sir.
Well, Cue Ball, I could think of nobody more appropriate for this one and have you join me. Of course, you are my new co-host for this, but this is definitely appropriate, as Jake was a huge influence on your life and your career as well. I would like you to lead off tonight with a personal story of yours and Jake's, something that we can share with our folks out here.
Yeah, no problem, man. Man, it started way back. I graduated in 2002, so it had to have been 2004 when I hooked up with Joseph Lavender, who at the time was wrestling under the name Azimuth.
Yep, I remember him.
But that's who I got with originally to start training, and we were in a place in Irby, I want to say it was, with Joseph Lavender. I met up with him, and I was going to start training. He didn't charge me too much. It was just a little bit, maybe $50, I think. Not even that. I think he made $200 in all, and I seen him a handful of times, 5 or 6. But anyway, the first time he ever come out, we had mattresses, box springs, tires, the old school setup to learn how to train in the backyard, so to speak, to get ready for that next level.
Right.
But he brought Jay the very first time with him. Of course, that's, to everybody out there, Jake Slater.
Right.
Jake took 2 hours out of his time a couple of times right there, and then of course by the time we got done doing everything we needed to do, they directed me to Fort Valley, and of course I reconnected with Jake a couple of years after that.
Right.
But man, that's a story that not too many people know about. It
That's
really started with Jake Slater.
Well, I've got several.
Well,
as you well know,
I got plenty of road trip stories.
I've got some there near and dear to my heart, which I'll get to one particular later. But my first meeting with Jake Slater had to have been, I was still working security at the door, and having to walk in the back. First time I'd seen Jake, I'd heard his name mentioned a couple of times. When I started coming out there, it just moved from the Spruce Street Gym into what was known as 1361 Peach Parkway in Fort Valley, which started out AWN and later on became Stranglehold's headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
He saw me and he's like, you don't look like your typical security. He started interrogating me, especially when I walked in the old heel locker room to talk to Danny Horn.
Right. If
If you remember, the back prop room was where they dressed, and it was usually DL, Danny, Bird, Jake Slater.
Yep,
but you only had a small handful to dress out or congregate in that little area.
Yeah, Jay Smooth make his way back there.
Yeah, eventually, he did. But of course, Danny introduced us, said, "Yeah, that's my boy from way back when. known Dangerous Danny Horn 35 years. And I know Jake gave a lot of credit to Danny for his training. You know, and that's, and of course, for those of you who don't know, Dangerous Danny Horn is our current and reigning Warzone champion. And rightfully so. He defeated Sabu to earn that honor. And so Danny had a lot of influence on Jake's career. And of course, Jake in turn had a lot of influence on everybody's career.
Yes, he did.
You know, he once told me the more I got my feet wet that I would move up. I'd move up fast. Just, you know, be patient, wait my turn, pay my dues. You know, that was the first thing he ever said to me.
Yeah.
And, you know, later on, he's like, okay, you know, now you're developing quite a pipeline with people. He said, you're even becoming an unofficial agent for a lot of people. He's like, keep that stuff up. He's like, it's honestly, that's where you need to be. He said, manager, agent, that's your role, man. He said, not everybody in this business is meant to be the world heavyweight champion, you know. He says, but he said, you got a gift for that. He said, you got a gift for connecting with people. He said, stick with it, man. He says, and I'll help you any way I can.
Right.
And there was not a time, not a place that I would run a show without him, without even talking to him first.
Really?
Like, hey, I'm thinking about running this date and time. What do you think? You know, here's where we're going to be at. Here's what I'm thinking about. You know, what do you think?
Yeah.
It was like that a lot with him. Is, you know, give me some ideas. Give me some people we should reach out to. Obviously, you're on the card because chances are I'm going to rent your ring.
Right.
You know, who do you want to work? I remember the very first time, and Micah, this was for you. Micah and Jake had never worked together before. I was the first one to book them in a match together. You know, Micah, super baby face, right? Or at least in my opinion. And then, of course, Jake being the heel that he was, you know, it was magic actually getting to put them two together for the first time.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you something, for those several shows consecutive, them guys tore it down, bro.
Oh, I bet.
And then, of course, something that's a lot near and dear, you know, and I'll probably reiterate this again and again because it's my favorite Jake Slater story, was basically, as I mentioned at the service, my darkest hour. Jake was there when I lost my father in 2012. Jake says, we're going to put you a show together and, you know, we're going to do this right. And I was flattered at all the help I got. Not just because of him. Originally, we were going to go another location and use his ring. But Mike Money's like, no, come on, you know better. Now I got a building, a ring, chairs. Right. You don't need to go anywhere else. Just come on, I got you. Which, you know, it's I have to say, you know, on a side note here, y'all, it's really hard for us to sit here and talk about both Jake Slater and Mike Money in past tense. It's very, very hard, which is, of course, why we drink this drink to Mike Money.
Oh yeah. Tasty little.
So of course, you know, two of the legends out there that I got to work with a lot during my earlier times as a promoter, was Mr. USA Tony Atlas and Demolition Axe, and they remained consistent with me for a long time. And you know, they came in for, I'm not even going to say for what, because it's nobody's business but mine and theirs. Right. But we all know that they did me a solid.
Right.
And of course, the match of the night was Jake Slater, Mr. USA Tony Atlas in the main event. And, you know, Tony always sings praise like, man, he just, you know, he's like, keep that guy wherever you go, take him with you. He says, I'll work him anytime. Right. He says, shoot, work him with your best baby face. He's like, that's best. He's like, one of the best heels I've seen in years. This is from Tony Atlas.
Right. Which, you know, we knew Jake was the best heel in the state, period. Especially in that time frame, he was on fire.
And of course, one of the more intense heels was our semi-main that night. Our very own world heavyweight champion, Extreme Phenom, faced Demolition Axe in the semi-main. So we had our two best men on the job. And of course, we can't forget Wild Child Joey Kidman.
Spit nice everywhere. Yeah, we can't forget about Joey. And
as a matter of fact, I do seem to recall that you opened that show.
I did. I think I messed up a certain green guy that night. The opening of the show.
That would have been Kennedy Riley. Now, I gotta admit, that kid had heart. He still does. I know he's watching. Don't worry.
Still going today.
Don't worry, buddy. I ain't forgot you. we're gonna talk. But you know, that night was one of the greatest wrestling shows I've ever done. Not just because it was that personal, but just because of how everybody was. I mean, Micah Taylor was there, Murder One, Chip Day. You guys were all on point. And it's one of the few times I've seen a show run that smooth. Because you know, it's wrestling, y'all. Something's gonna happen. Something's gonna go wrong somewhere. Everybody knows that. There's no such thing as. But that was actually one of the few times I ever seen a show that was damn near flawless.
That's usually a person showing up late that stirs the card around a little bit first off.
Yeah, but that's okay. But that was pretty near and dear to me, and all the other times that you know, of course, there was Jake and Wildfire Tommy Rich. You know, many shows with those two together. Then the after party. Of course, I didn't mind getting as much beer as we could all drink.
No doubt.
And you know, it was always a party with those two.
Oh yeah, yep. I had the privilege of working with Wildfire and Jake on church shows. We'll talk about that a different day. But we had some good times. It always was. Car rides were always phenomenal. Most of the time I rode with him, if it wasn't Joey Kidman with me, it was one of the students, whether it was his son-in-law, J.L. Lightning at the time, which still is son-in-law. But,
right.
But man, there's always somebody. CJ Awesome, I want to say, rode a few times with us. I mean, it was always a blast with Jake. Always.
You know, not to mention that trip to Alabama, right?
Yeah, the trip to Alabama.
Oh, me. That was a night, but hey, at least everybody got paid, right?
I'm telling you. That was an interesting night, to say the least.
Well, would you like to give the folks at home the number, and anybody out there, any of our brothers and sisters that worked with us, ran those roads with us, that have other memories of Jake, even if we were all together or all separate? I'd love to hear them. And then, you know, some of his music compadres, you know, please call in as well.
Definitely. 478-235-6643. All you got to do is hit the call, we'll accept. Of course, a lot of you should already have my number out there, so just hit us up and give us your Jake Slater story, the real deal story.
That's right. But for now, we're going to take a brief intermission, followed by a commercial break, and we'll be back. We had to refill the glasses and eat a little something real quick, because I have a feeling this is going to be a long night. By the way, we had a caller come in. Sir, if you would, for us, tell us your name.
Scooter Franklin.
And what was your association with Real Deal Jake Slater?
Oh, I've had numerous shows for him. Was trained by him, and like I say, I reffed a bunch of shows for him.
That's right, and several shows that I was on too. So my hat's off to you, buddy. So,
Thank you.
So hit me with your best Jake story, my man.
I went over to Albany when Thunderbolt Patterson was doing a show over there just to watch it.
Okay, yeah, I
Didn't
remember
want to
this.
ref it. I just went to watch, and I was sitting in the crowd, and all of a sudden his theme song come on, and as he broke curtain, I started yelling greaseball at him.
Everybody yelled greaseball at Jake.
Popped big time, and he started his little jaw jacking. I started mine, and man, it was just a great night up there in Albany. And he come up to me after the match, and during intermission, and said, "Scooter," he said, "I didn't know you was in the crowd." He said, "But I appreciate that pop you got for me." He said, "That made my night right there."
You remember who he was wrestling by chance that night?
I don't.
I think I was there that night. I wrestled Blade Rage that night.
Yeah, that's right, you did.
He might have wrestled Blaine that night.
No, I did.
No, Cuba
I want to
did.
say Slater.
Wrestled. Let's see.
Man, I can't put my finger on it.
Wait a minute, that's right. Cue ball, you wrestled Blaine that night, didn't you?
Yep.
Yep.
I thought so.
Damn, who did Jake wrestle that night?
I don't know why, but Micah keeps running through my head, and that might have been a time where he was circling with him because I know Tracy was there that night.
So this was after
Then I
the.
also remember doing shows at the at Tipton at the park for a little girl named Diana.
Oh
that
yeah,
had cancer.
that's
I
right.
remember doing them shows, and he looked at me. He said, "Scooter, what you gonna do special?" I said, "Well," I said, "for this one particular show," I said, "I'm gonna shave my head back completely bald," and I
That's
did.
funny. He did.
Yeah.
So Jake was one of my mentors in the wrestling ring. I got to say that.
He was for a lot of people.
Amen.
Yeah, I know the other night was very hard for all of us.
Yeah, hard wasn't a word.
Whatnot. But so I understand you want to come down here and ref for me.
Yes, sir. I sure will.
Well, Mr. Scooter, you'll be with us in May when we go into the Royal Congress Center, and also you'll be there the night that. And this is just real quick. Our first Hall of Fame inductee for our 2022 will be the real deal Jake Slater in the Stranglehold Championship Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Didn't have to think about that one at all.
Nope, not one bit. We hate to do it. We hate, of course, to do it under these circumstances. I would rather done it and offered him a steak dinner and a drink of whiskey
You're
with me.
breaking up on me, sir. Mr. Eric, you're breaking up.
Sorry, I know we're all going. I know it's a little hard to hear. Anything else you want to share before we call it?
Man, yeah, I can remember doing a show in Tipton at what used to be City Limits. Now it's the
Oh, yeah.
YMCA. Jake was like, "Scooter, you want to rent the hardcore match for me?" I said, "Yeah, brother. I ain't scared of no steel cage, no tack, barbed wire." Yeah, that was the night he introduced me to my first hardcore match, and I loved it. So I missed him, man.
Yes, sir. We all do. Well, listen, we appreciate your time.
Yeah, man, it was real good to see you.
Yeah, we all
real good to
enjoyed
see
that. It's good to catch up with a lot of you guys. Let's not make funerals the only time we meet up anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Really.
10-4, yeah. Let's not do that ever again.
And be careful out there on the road tonight, my man.
Yes, sir. I will.
Thanks for calling in.
Yes, sir.
All right, so it's one of our good buddies, Scooter. Scooter, to me, was known to ref a lot of the shows that we all did together in that area.
Oh, yeah.
Good times. Yeah, nothing like that greaseball chant to get it going, right? My daughter is 18 now, but when she was, couldn't even walk, and she was already calling him greaseball. And he'd come over, "Hey, don't call me a greaseball."
Right. Oh, yeah, my kids always gave him hell. Every show they were at that he was there. I mean, he got it.
So if you want to shoot the number one more time.
Yeah, that number's 478-235-6643.
And that's what we're here for. We're telling stories tonight, y'all.
Oh, yeah. We'll be on here for a little while, take a few calls. If nobody calls here in the next few minutes, we'll let you go and then come back when somebody does. But we're going to be here for a little while. We're going to take another break.
Yep. I got to check the grill anyway.
I heard that. It's about time for a smoke break anyway for Q-Ball. So we'll catch back up to you guys here in just a minute.
We will continue with more stories of the real deal Jake Slater after this. Eric Nelson, manager of champions here. You've already seen me buy suits. You've seen me travel the world. We're here. I'm at Lux, right here in the Mall of Georgia. Diamonds, gold, anything I want. And I come see this man for all my needs. Meet the Diamond Sheep.
At Lux Jewelers, you too can shop just like a celebrity. With the amount of celebrities that come through and shop with us, you will get a superstar experience. From diamonds to gold, silver, platinum, and everything in between, Lux Jewelers carries a wide variety of options to fit any budget. Come on in and get that superstar treatment that you deserve.
Because I don't settle for less, and neither should you. Best looks, Mall of Jordan, Buford, Jordan. And we're back. We have one half of the Stranglehold Tag Team Champion Hall of Fame class of 2020, the SlaughterPit. Tell them who you are, my man.
How y'all doing out there in Facebook world? This is Sam Slaughter.
All right. Sam Slaughter, one of my personal favorites, one of the great inspirations to my career, and I know cue balls.
Oh yeah, he
Which is why he's in the Hall of Fame. Hey, he even trained me up a little bit. You know what I mean?
I appreciate the honor.
So, as you know, by the way, it was good to see you the other night. Just hate to meet you on them circumstances again.
Yeah, it seems like we meet too often under those circumstances here lately.
Yes, sir. I agree. So, it's my understanding you had your first ever match with the real deal Jake Slater. Is that true?
Yes, my very first match. It was, I want to say, it was May 23rd. I want to say it was the day before my birthday.
and mine.
That's right. Yeah.
2001, the day before our birthday.
Well, how about that?
2001. Oddly enough, though, Q-Ball, you were probably still, having to be pulled off of breast.
I was a junior in high school, so yeah, that would have been accurate. 15, 16-year-old breast.
Yeah. Still, the statement is true, nonetheless.
I'll drink to that one.
True.
I'll drink to that one.
What are we sipping on, guys?
Mike Money's.
Yeah, the classic Mike Money cocktail.
Oh, okay.
Crown apple and orange juice. His favorites.
Yeah, still Mike Money there.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Jake was he was my very first match. It was I'm pretty sure it was May 23rd. I know it was 2001 at the Spruce Street Gym in Fort
Oh yeah,
Valley.
good old Spruce Street Gym.
Yeah, man, we used to pack them in there, man.
Because I remember I joined you guys right after we got that building on Peach Parkway.
Well, it was right before that,
Yep. So yep, I remember that.
Because we wrestled at the gym for a few months every week, and then we wrestled at actually it was the Food Depot parking lot.
Yep, that's true. And then y'all got the WrestlePlex.
While we were getting the building ready, and Leatherface was the one we were using his ring for that.
Oh yeah, good old
In
Leatherface.
the building to start with, and then I wound up building the ring that stayed there for years.
Yep, I remember that.
But I came into that. I came to that show to watch. I was not preparing to wrestle that night. That was my first show. I had just got hooked up with Alton Griffin.
Oh, good old Super Ray. We'll drink to him too.
Yeah. And George Starr.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
And David Smith.
Yeah.
Actually. They were running the shows down there, and Osborne had actually come to my house, and we had trained years before, and then I got married, and started having kids,
Oh yeah.
and kind of fell out of it, and kind of just like kind of thought that I'd lost my chance, to live out one of those dreams that a lot of people have, and so he came to my house one day and he says, hey man, they got this wrestling thing going down in Fort Valley. Let's go check it out. And we went down there a couple times for training and everything like that. And just to meet everybody and get some work in, a little bit of training in the ring. And I went to the show that night and was not intending to wrestle at all. Matter of fact, it happened so quick that I didn't even have time to really get nervous for my first match. It was my first match ever, and I'm not nervous at all. I didn't have time to get nervous.
Right.
It was really insane. When you go in the back there, you go up some steps, and you would go up the steps to the back of the gym there, and you would come to this. There were around the corner. There were steps going up to get on the stage, and we would go up those steps and come out of the stage and walk down to the ring. You know.
Right.
And I walked in the building, and apparently they were short a guy.
That's
Sounds
usually the way
right.
it works.
It's usually 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. So I'm standing at the bottom of the steps, leading up to the stage, and David Smith actually pointed at me and said, "There's your guy, right there. Put him in there." I'm like, what are we talking about here? And he said, he was like halfway down the steps, and he said, "You're wrestling next, and you're wrestling him." And he turned and pointed at the top of the steps, and it was Jake Slater. I'd never met him. I'm like, well, all right, I guess I'm wrestling him. You know.
That's funny.
I love it.
Danny Horn actually was walking out with Jake. Excuse me if my cell service gets a little haywire right here. I'm driving through the old boondocks.
Oh, you're good, my man.
Danny was walking out to the ring with him. Jake didn't know I had never had a match. I didn't, feel like I needed or wanted to provide that information to anybody. I'm looking at him. He's all in his wrestling gear. He's looking professional, and I'm like, well, I ain't gonna tell him I don't know shit.
Right.
Yeah, you never knew that, right?
I ain't gonna tell somebody I just match.
I'm real curious who told him it was your first match, if anybody ever told him. I can just imagine Jake Slater's response. You're putting me in the ring with this.
Right.
Oh,
He
man.
found out after the match. We go out there, we have the match, and everything was tremendous.
I believe that.
The match was good. The timing, if there was one thing I was good at in wrestling, I think it was my timing.
And the arm drag.
Oh yeah, definitely the arm drag.
I think I was pretty good at my timing. I guess I was decent with it from day one. To the point where we got back to the back after the match, and the finish of the match, Jake, he was using the DDT as finish. Danny was going to trip me from outside, and I was going to fall into the DDT. We got back to the back, and Jake's like, "Man, how long you been working?" I was like, "Well, just going to be honest with you, man, that was my first match." He just couldn't believe it.
I wish I could have seen his face.
Had that great match, and the only spot that was missed was Danny Horn, the 15-year
Missed the
veteran,
trip. No, that's where he's going.
didn't hook your foot when you hit the rope.
Oh man,
Yeah, that's.
I can hear him going, "What the fuck?"
So you're saying you're better than the 15-year vet Danny Horn was on your first night?
Do what now?
So you're saying you're better than the 15-year veteran Danny Horn was on your first night?
Well,
He's gonna love that one.
Danny Horn, we wrestled a lot. me and the old dangerous one, and he never pinned me in a match, and he would let me know that he had never pinned me in a match.
Maybe
The first few times.
I don't know if that's a Danny thing or a Sam Slaughter cue ball thing, but Danny Horn's like 0-4 against me as well.
Well, after about 5 or 6 matches, he come to me and he's
Oh,
like, man,
Danny's listening to this
I'm
probably.
gonna let you know I ain't never pinned you in a match.
Damn.
And he reminded me about that a couple times. And then after that, I would remind him, like, you know, Danny, you know my name's on the card next to yours, so you're not winning. Look, Jake, he was so instrumental in helping. I'll never forget, I called Jake the first time I was going to be wrestling Chick Donovan. It was still pretty
Love
early
Chick.
in my career.
Me too.
Love Chick.
And I wrestled somebody that was an older person.
I loved it. Loved it.
I got my first suit from Chick Donovan.
I had never wrestled somebody with that much experience, and you know, Jake Donovan was a huge star
Oh, yeah.
at one time. You know, he was a member of the Hart stable. You know, he's wrestled. He's been in the ring and wrestled with a lot of the greats.
Yeah.
And is a Georgia legend himself.
Absolutely. Which is why he's going in the Hall of Fame.
And I was kind of nervous about wrestling him. You know, I probably hadn't been wrestling at this time. I hadn't been wrestling about 6 months. But I knew Jake had wrestled him. So I called Jake up, and I'm telling him, and I'm like, man, I'm just kind of nervous. I mean, you know, what do I do with this guy? You know, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, Sam, you'll figure out what to do with it. Just kind of follow his lead a little bit, and you'll figure it out. You can kind of work around people. You're actually pretty good. Now, I took that as a huge compliment when Jake told me that. You know, I didn't know nothing. I didn't know shit from apple butter. And he was like, he told me, he was like, you know, just, you know, go slow with him, go at his pace. You can change your pace to him. He's not going to be able to change his pace to you. And you know, just kind of talked me through stuff like that when I was really young in the business. And you know, I was always grateful for that. And you know, he was just such a. I've never heard anybody say anything bad about Jake Slater.
No, and you won't.
And because he was just a great guy in the locker room, and it didn't matter how good your locker room was. If Jake Slater walked into your locker room was better.
Oh, yeah.
That's a fact.
You know, you can have the best locker room in the world. Just the chemistry in the locker room could be the greatest in the history of wrestling. Jake Slater walks into your locker room, it is automatically better.
I agree.
And you know, there's not too many people in the wrestling business that went around this business as much as he did that don't have something bad tied to their name.
Well, that's true.
You know, whether it's you know, a promoter giving bad payoffs, or you know, wrestlers losing their cool with people. Even I've done that. We won't talk about that.
All right.
But you know, I never saw that with Jake. He was
always professional. Always.
100% a professional, and would go above and beyond.
That's
You
a
know,
fact.
If you ask Jake Slater, you could ask a lot of guys in the back, and I'm guilty of as well. Hey man, when you watch my match and kind of, you know, see what I'm doing or not doing or whatever like that. And I've had people ask me that too, and I'm like, yeah, I watch a match, and I might watch it, I might not, I don't know. If you had Slater watch your match, he would watch it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. And when you got back to the back, he was going to have something for you.
Yes, he would.
He would have some advice for you. You're doing this wrong. You need to work on this, or you do this really well. You know, how about doing this a little more, being a little more this way than that way? You know, he understood the wrestling business from a fan's perspective and also from a veteran's perspective.
That's a fact.
You know, and he wasn't, you know, Jake wasn't a high flyer, high spot guy.
No,
Nope.
he didn't need to be.
Nope.
He could do some of the high spots, and he would every now and then, you know, if the moment called for it. But that wasn't what he was known for.
No. Mm-mm.
He was known for being probably, you know, I would guess if he walked into any locker room, he would be the best wrestler in the locker room.
Absolutely.
One of the best wrestlers.
Right.
You know, just a straight up wrestler.
Right.
So he was an entertainer. Don't get me wrong.
And he had a pretty basic gimmick, but he got over more than anybody else just about.
He could go out there and flat out wrestle. Just not anybody on the card. It didn't matter where it was at.
That's a fact. I watched him do it with Tony Atlas.
And it was like magic. I wrestled Jake. Man, I wrestled him probably more than I wrestled anybody else. Well, I don't know. We had Bob Wire and Sean Hunter. I probably wrestled them more than anybody else. But
Yeah.
Jake is a singles wrestler. I probably wrestled Jake Slater more times as a singles wrestler than anybody else that I ever wrestled. And the crazy thing was I never remember a bad match. I never remember a funny spot or, you know, anything that was out of place. It seemed like those matches were just, I mean, they were just perfect. You know, in the sense of two guys going in there and none of this fumbling around. The matches were always really tight, you know. They were always, everything looked good, and Jake always made sure that the crowd got their money.
That's a fact.
You know? And I remember one time I went down to, I think it was, golly, I want to say somewhere around like Pitts, Georgia or something like that. We're wrestling in a gym.
Oh, good Lord, I remember that place.
And Jake had some trainees there. And I was on the card, and I was supposed to be wrestling somebody. I mean, who knows? I don't know. But I told Jake that I'll probably be able to make it, but you know, just have me in a throwaway match just in case. You know, because
Right.
I had to do the shoot that day. You know, things like that. You never can tell what might come up.
Right.
So, you know, well, when I got there, he had me in the typical throwaway match, and he was in the ring with his trainees, and I walked in, and he just on the whim. He's in there. He's trying to show some of his guys some stuff, and this was a great compliment. I thought this was one of the best compliments of my career. He sees me, and he says, front row tonight from the match. And I want y'all to pay attention to what's going on and really study and watch the match. And I was like, dang, Jake, who you wrestling? He said, since you got here's you. I was like, man, that's, you gonna put your trainees through that? You know, but we had great in-ring chemistry. We had great outside-the-ring chemistry. I always enjoyed talking to Jake. I enjoyed wrestling Jake more than I enjoyed wrestling anybody else.
Amen.
I always felt a real good connection with him, you know, when we were around each other. You know, he was only from February to May older than me. We were both the same age, a lot of the same interests, a lot of the same ideas about wrestling. We were very similar wrestling styles, I would say.
Yeah,
You are.
I agree with that.
But you know, he took that to another level.
He did.
You know, I had to bow out in April of 2010. I actually I wrestled my last match, and he kept going with it, and was traveling everywhere. I mean, he'd go down to Pensacola every other week.
Oh yeah.
When he, you know, wrestling down there with those guys. He was going to Tennessee, Alabama, the Carolinas, you know, all over the place. And he'd come back with more experience. And, you know, because he's wrestling different people. And, man, every time I got in the ring with him, it was, I would always learn something. Even if it was just a new joke. You know, me never talked about the match. We would just go out there and he'd listen to the crowd, and you know, he'd pretty much decide where. All the great matches I had with Jake Slater, they were all Jake Slater's fault. You know, he was leading the match 100%. I was just tagging along on his coattails.
Hell, you trained me and still followed behind me.
Huh?
I said, you trained me and you still followed my lead.
Well, I had to make sure you could do it.
Yeah, there it goes. You know, and I'll say this, man. I appreciate all the advice you ever gave me and all the help you ever gave me.
Yeah.
You know, like I said the other night, we don't always agree, but you know, we have a pretty similar view on things.
Likewise.
And I'll tell you this again in front of God and everybody, since we're sitting here, you deserve it. And you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
You deserve it. I know you said there were so many others should be before you. I disagree. Sorry, but you guys deserve it.
Well, I really do appreciate the honor.
Well, like I said,
it's
my
not
way of
something that I expected.
like I said, if wasn't for you and the others that are going into this group or the groups, you know, there to follow, you know, it's direct impact on this company and what it stands for. Because without you guys, there wouldn't be this.
Right.
I wouldn't have made all those travels. I wouldn't have met the people that I met. I wouldn't have done the things that I've done. And I owe you guys for that.
Man, it's really good to know that you know, I had a even if it was a small part, I had a part in helping somebody in a business that I love, that's still in the business that I still love, and taking it to places that I never could.
By the way, I hope you're in Atlanta those 4 days in May. It would really, it'll put some things in perspective for you. I can tell you that.
The 28th of May?
The 26th, 27th, 28th, and 29th. We got 4 glorious days, my man, at the Georgia World Congress Center.
Nothing on the 24th for mine and Q-Ball's birthday? Are you kidding me?
Don't worry, I'll have y'all something for your birthday. Q-Ball's even gonna break out a special outfit he wore at Halloween one time.
I don't know about that one.
But we'll get to that. We'll get to that one another day. Sam, listen.
We'll have to go back to that.
Well, Sam, listen. I appreciate your time this evening. We're gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna finish my food. Q-Ball's gonna get a smoke, and the old lady's gotta head out for a minute. We'll be back here shortly, and thanks again, my man.
All right, brothers. Y'all be good up there.
See
Don't
you.
drink too many of them like money.
You got it, Sam. I'll see you.
All right, y'all take it easy.
Yes, sir. You
Ladies
too.
and gentlemen, Sam Slaughter.
Bye, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Eric Nelson, manager of Champions here. I'm at Prestige Menswear, where only true champions come to get their finest menswear.
From crowns to cufflinks, accessories to fit any occasion, find Italian leather footwear at competitive prices, tailored suits, fit any clientele.
Come to the Mall of Georgia, Prestige Menswear, and these two gentlemen will make you look like a champion.
Only at Prestige Menswear, located at Mall of Georgia, 3333 Creekwood Drive, Beaufort, Georgia.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Again, manager of Champions Eric Nelson with Stranglehold Championship Wrestling. Hall of Famer Q-Ball. Remember the life and times of the real deal Jake Slater. I have a very special young man on the line with us tonight who was also part of the opening match at my father's memorial show.
Yes, he was. But I'll take the introduction from here. This is the Sin City All-Star, Tyler Stevens.
Oh man, I was actually really expecting to hear an old school K-Ross certified Kennedy Riley there.
And of course, back then, as
how's it going, guys?
as I knew this young man, Kennedy
Going
Riley,
great, man.
K-Ross certified. All right, good to hear from you, my man.
That's been good. How y'all been?
Oh, we doing our thing. I guess we'll be seeing you here in a few months, huh?
I say definitely hit me with some dates because I said right now I'm pretty stacked with the stuff I've got going on in Kentucky, Indiana, and I got some stuff that just formed up in West Virginia that I'm waiting on the exact date for.
Well, I'll send you the poster later, but it's the 26th, 27th, 28th, and 29th of May at the Georgia World Congress Center.
Just definitely shoot those to me later. This way I can check my calendar because I've got all my dates from between now and December in my phone. So this way I can double check and make sure I'm good for everything.
Good deal. Well, let's hear a Jake story from you.
Oh man, I'll have to think about probably one of the first times I came out to Fort Valley when this bald guy by the name of Q-Ball booked some kid he knew nothing about.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, he really didn't, except for that I had gear. That's all you knew.
He could take an ass whooping. That's what I did, though.
Okay, I remember it was me and Dirty Dog versus Irish Car Bomb.
Oh, okay.
And I'm terrible in the ring at this time. So I go out there. We're having the match. I have a spot with Ash where I'm throwing some stomps, and of course I don't know what I'm doing, so I accidentally got a few of those in pretty good. Well, I get in the back, I see Jake, and I remember the first things he says is, "Kid, how long have you been working?" I think at that time I'd been working like a month. And he was like, "Well, what was your training?" I listed off what little bit I had from Rampage before the school had closed. And he was like, "So you pretty much know next to nothing?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, you need to be talking to this man right here about being out here every week." So that's when I started getting with Marv and Q and everybody on training.
Right, I remember that.
Yeah, he gave me the full on, more or less, get better or, you need to get out. And,
Yeah, and he was serious about that shit.
oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because I remember, I think it was a year or two later, I had a match with Kidman down in, I think, Ryan, Georgia. And, he gave me praise on that. He's like, "All right, from the first time I seen you," he's like, I'm not going to lie, I hadn't paid attention to any of your other matches. But he's like, "Seeing you tonight, I'm going to start paying attention to your matches."
Right.
And that was a huge compliment. That was a
major
huge
praise for me. You know,
that was a huge
like,
compliment
Jake
from him.
was happy with what he saw.
I'm gonna tell you something that maybe you didn't know about. So, you know, when I had you go out and open the show for my father's memorial, you know, Jake and of course Joey been running late, you know, due to unforeseen circumstances. So you were the only one back there in gear. So I sent you out there. Cue Ball was gearing up. So I said, hey, you know, I'm gonna send Riley out there, go out there and beat the shit out of him. Anyway, so you guys were out there doing the thing. You know, I got the pose. I got the picture posted on Facebook several days ago of Cue Ball having you in that pose and looking towards the curtain when he heard Joey's music hit. And of course, Kidman comes out and makes the save. And I get back, Jake's like,
It was right before Fort Valley paired me and Kidman up as a tag team too, I think.
well, that was exactly before, because I came the following week and you guys were teaming together.
Yeah, so that was like, I think like 1 or 2 shows prior to Certified Wild being a thing.
That's it, and you're welcome. But that's beside the point.
Honestly, I think that, because me and Kidman had talked it up a couple times, and Bro at first was like, no, and I think
Well,
that show
again,
was
again,
finally,
again,
hey, we'll
again.
green like this.
Again, you're welcome. I took care of you. You're welcome.
So that was one thing, you know, it made my day, you know, especially with how good of friends me and Kidman used to be.
Right.
I remember sitting in cars with him, listening to him call Cue Ball and a million others using his Kimbrough Jones impersonation. Many people in the valley.
Shit.
That man had it to the T.
To the T.
Yeah, he did too. Oh God, he called it 3 more. Shit, Nelson. I'm like, oh damn, here we go.
I have seen Kidman call somebody and unbook them, thinking that he was Kimbrough.
That's what I'm saying.
God
Like,
damn
I
it.
sat in a car ride. I think it was when me and him wrestled in Ryan, you know, that I was just talking about a minute ago.
He was saying something to me, and what gave it away is like,
Going through his whole entire contact list, calling everybody from like Vordell Walker to Velvet Jones to Big Bang Barfield, like anyone that he could think of. You know, he was on there.
Bank, are you listening to this?
From
Seriously.
the AWN.
He loved calling Bank.
Bank, you hear this shit? Anyway,
Damn it.
yeah, I remember one time he called me to say something, and what gave it away was Jake laughing his ass off in the background. I was like, hey, what's going on, fellas?
That's exactly what it was.
He said, nothing. What are you doing? I said, fuck, I was asleep. So what are y'all doing? So you don't want to know? I said, I probably don't, but I'm sure I'll hear about it later. But those were the.
You know, he was definitely like the life of the party at shows.
You know, it is very hard to sit here at this moment in time and talk about Kidman and Jake Slater in the past.
Man, like that's exactly how I'm feeling. And then, you know, on top of it too, you know, around the time I found out about Jake, I found out about Kid Daniels that I brought to Fort Valley as a ref when they
I remember that. Yeah,
returned to the ring.
you actually talked me into letting him ref that night.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's where, like, you know, like I said, I heard about Jake, and it was like 20 minutes later, I heard about Kid, and I'm like, man, like that's like too close to home for me.
Yeah.
And you know, sidebar note, folks. Again, remember my previous broadcast about mental health. Please, 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 before you do the unthinkable, call somebody.
Right.
Yeah,
It
it's
is
like,
not.
it
It is not. There's nothing in this
I don't
world.
care if I know you or not. If something's going on, they're like, I'll listen.
Exactly.
Amen.
There's nothing or no one in this world worth taking your own life over. It's just, trust me. But anyway, back to the story. So, throw me some more good Jake stuff, man. Then we're going to have to holler at you in a minute.
See, that's what I'm trying to think. Because I said a lot of times me and Jake weren't on shows together, except for mainly Fort Valley.
Right.
And that was back when the locker room kind of had like the little clique deal of, you know, the one side was, you know, like Danny, Jake, and then, you know, the one side being this crew, and you know, I was kind of that guy that I bounced in the middle, just kind of back and forth in it. You know, every now and then I'd get the cut up with Jake. I mean, I remember, you know, numerous times him showing up to the show on his motorcycle and everything, and I remember I talked bikes with him and stuff, but
Yeah, I know it's hard. I know.
you know, me bettering myself if I was wanting to take it serious. And, you know, I think that's one of the things, you know, nowadays, you know, I look at myself now compared to then, and I see that I took that advice and ran with it.
I agree.
It's never too late. Never too late.
Well, I'll send you the.
Thankful, you know, that I got in with Larry D up here, and I work regularly with him, and I said it's helped a lot.
I will formally send you those dates here soon.
Your story reminds me of me, my man. Jake Slater was my Larry D to you. Stay with him.
Yep.
Yeah, I am. Like I said, I was just down there as soon as I got off the 9 to 5 earlier. I went straight down there to help tear down the ring for our show Saturday from the school. And now I'll be there bright and early, like 9 a.m. Saturday in Maysville, Kentucky, setting it up. So
There you go.
That's it. And that'll tell you something right there. Kentucky, Georgia, I mean, Jake's reach was everywhere, y'all.
Yeah.
Well, listen, K-Rye, now Tyler Stevens, I appreciate it. I'll get you those formal dates over for May here soon. We appreciate you sharing your testimony for everybody tonight. By the way, everybody's watching. But we'll see you soon, my man, okay? And thanks for all you did for me as well.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Like I said, that was back in the day, I mean, you and me had gotten pretty close to that time. Plus, I was always itching for an opportunity to work. So it was one of those, friend in need and opportunity to work. So, it was kind of a, doing for me as I'm doing for you.
Well, like I said, I saw a little spark in you, and you never lost it. Just keep it going.
Yeah, I say, I turned that little spark into a big old flame these days.
Yes, sir. Well, ladies and gentlemen,
The Sin City All-Star, Tyler Stevens. It was good, man. We'll holler at you later.
All righty. I'll hear y'all later.
Always good to talk to everybody.
well, hey everybody, Eric Nelson, Manager of Champions here at the Marietta, Georgia Flashback Games. Notice right here, we have the only 8-foot-tall Gallagher machine known to man. That's one of my personal favorites. Of course, I'm not playing right now, so my character's getting killed. Let me walk you around. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Mr. Roger Oswald.
Alright, let me show you my face.
One of the owners here at Flashback Games. We're doing the whole retail thing here. We have NES cartridges for sale at competitive prices. We also have the N64 cartridges here for sale as well. And note a few other classic retro systems as well. And right here, all the stand-up arcade games you need. Y'all pull me. Say what's up, everybody. Thanks for coming in today. More perennial retro favorites. And in here, folks, we have a retro lounge for all you couch potato gamers like myself. This TV is set up just like our living room back in the 80s and 90s. You have the original NES, the original Super Nintendo, the original N64, and the original Sega Genesis, all ready to go right here. You go up and see Mr. Roger. Any game you want for these systems, come in here with your favorite beverage, favorite food. Hey, the possibilities are endless. In here we're set up for more of got some VR here. Now this one I'm proud of. It's an electronic pinball machine. There are more than 50 pinball games loaded into this machine. It's awesome. Now of course in here you can throw your birthday party with 20 of your close friends. Go see Roger, he'll give you competitive pricing. And of course everybody asks me, how much does it cost here at Flashback Games? Well, for the low price of $11, you can come in and play all the games you want from open to close. And you can't beat that deal, folks. You can't beat that anywhere. We are coin free. That's right, Flashback Games is coin free.
Hey, this is Olympic gold medalist and WWE Hall of Famer Kurt Angle. Come join me Friday, May 27th at MomoCon in Atlanta, Georgia. I will be at the Stranglehold Championship Wrestling table, signing autographs and taking pictures. I will see you there. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We have another caller here for testimony on the real deal, Jake Slater. Caller, tell us who you are.
What's up? This is the Dirty Dog.
Blast from the past right there.
Yeah, it's been a minute, brother. It's been a minute.
Yeah, I know you're having a time with this, just like we all are. Taking all this in, that we're having to talk about Jake in past tense. But give me one of your best Jake stories, man. Hit us with it.
Oh man, there's so many of them, brother. We've been up and down this road, all over, man. There's so many of them. I remember one time where I was probably a good year or so into the business, and Jake kind of took me on the road with him, and I got in there and was working as a kid, and I asked Jake, I said, Jake, I said, you know, what's the best way to get the crowd? And he popped me in the back of the head and he said, you know what you're doing? He said, you just find one individual as far away as you can and you give them all the emotions you got in you, and the rest of the arena will follow.
Facts.
So that's what I did, and well, it was pretty much the creation of the Babyface Dirty Dog.
That's it.
You know, I'm just been in all kinds of other places. I remember one time we was in a locker room with Rock and Roll Express, and Scott was there, Scotty Bullwinkle was there, a couple of other people, a couple of other names and everything. We all sitting down, and old Jake walks in with his electrifying attitude. And then we were just all talking, and someone kind of like let one out. And Ricky Morton looked up at Jake and said, was that you? And Jake's like, nah, brother, but something just arm dragged me across the room. Being on the road with Jake, let me tell you, brother, it's a whole different experience.
It sure is. It sure is.
That man is a man of the man. He's taught me a lot of things. He's given me a lot of advice. He didn't mind critiquing you and helping you as long as he seen that you was trying. Now he didn't care about no lazy people. He seen you was trying and you was putting in the work. He was gonna help you.
And the other thing was, as long as you were listening.
Exactly. He would always tell you that. Shut up and listen, boy. Pull up a chair and be quiet.
Yeah,
always listen.
Yeah, there's one thing I could always tell you. You with Jake Slater, I mean, you can't get no higher if you catch my drift, my man.
Yeah.
That's it. That's absolutely it. And I catch your drift.
I mean, I'm one of them type, man. When I burn down, I'm focused and I'm very listening. I'm listening to everything. I'm always thinking. And man, when I burn down and sit there and listen to a Jake Slater story, man, I take in everything. Everything.
Yeah.
And
yeah, like I said, me and Scott was talking the other day, and you know, we all traveled the roads together.
Oh yeah. So we know them were good road trips.
Yeah, there was some crazy. Right before Jake got out of it, we decided we was going to take off and do a wrestling show that turned into not coming home for 2 weeks.
Jesus.
We just ended up working the show, and then a promoter would be at that show, and he's like, hey, I got a show, and then it just another guy was like, hey, I got a show, and we just did it, brother. We just struck out and didn't come home. Lost many of the women.
But you gain more in the process.
Oh yeah, good friendship, good. I mean, you can't ask for a better man. You can't ask for a better friend, a mentor. I mean, Jake was dead on. If he liked you, he liked you, and if he didn't, he let you know.
Oh yeah.
You damn sure right about that. You always knew where he stood, but you know, one thing I did notice about him, and this is something I was thinking about with this whole ordeal, is Jake wouldn't come to you with his problems.
No.
Nah, he wouldn't do that.
And I gotta tell you, man, I'm still trying to make sense of all this shit.
Yeah, me too. Actually, what's kind of crazy about the situation, because, you know, we also have another brother that's up in the big show in the sky. And we was talking about him when we got the phone call about Jake, and was like, are you serious? How are we going to put on any decent shows when they're at the big show in the sky?
Right. Understand that.
Yeah. Well, like I said, Dirty Dog, ain't over yet. Stranglehold's still here. And you will see and witness firsthand when MomoCon comes to town at the Georgia World Congress Center, Memorial Day weekend, that Thursday, that Friday, that Saturday, and that Sunday. Because besides a Hall of Fame ceremony, I got some boys to catch up on from 2020 and 2021, just so everybody gets their due, you know.
Yeah.
And we've had a couple of them on the horn tonight. But our first inductee of 2022 is Jake Slater. But not only that, not only will I have most of my brothers and sisters together under one roof for four whole days, 6 whole shows, but the Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle and the Big Red Machine Kane will be in attendance during this time.
That'll be a good day.
Yeah, that'll be good. It's always good, man. Oh, Angle, man, he's a good guy. He's
They're both good men. If you didn't know this, Kane has one of the best schools in the country. So for all you young folks listening, JPWA, man, JPWA in Tennessee. If you don't know about it, look it up.
I heard y'all talking about earlier about old Chicky, man.
Oh yeah, you know Chick Donovan bought my first suit. Taught me everything you need to know about ring announcing.
All right, I'm heading up to West Virginia here next month on a four-day trip, and my riding partner's gonna be old Chicky. I gotta go scoop him up and make it.
Oh, nice.
You going from Macon to West Virginia with Chick Donovan?
It's gonna be a trip, brother.
You lucky dog.
A trip.
Well, you hug his neck for me, okay, brother?
It's gonna be me, Scotty Bullwinkle, Chick Donovan, and we're going up there to meet Wildfire.
Oh yeah, good time.
Well, have a couple for me, my man, and you be safe on the road. I'll shoot you them dates over.
And burn a few for me.
Yes, sir.
Y'all stay alive and stay real, brother.
You know it, my man.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dirty Dog.
Yes, sir. Later, my man.
Booyaka, Rey Mysterio. If you need us, we're right there for you. Remember, CommandoPestControl.com, 407-415-4909. Write that down, 407-415-4909. Sam, Kid Romeo, big shout out to WCW Undisputed Champions of Pest Control.
All right, we're back. Eric Nelson, manager of champions, here with Q-Ball,
the new Warzone champion.
Oh, look at you talking junk, man. Danny Horn's gonna flip when he sees that.
Yeah, I want him to flip.
But we're
0-4.
We of course have been drinking a few too many of these Mike Moneys here. But on the phone we have a long-time supporter, a long-time friend of this business, and somebody that Jake Slater considered a good friend. Tell us who you are, my man.
Well, before I make my introduction, all I have to say is, Alan, what's up, man?
Man, it's been a long time.
Hey, what's
long
up,
time.
Anyway, this is your boy, Mondo, the Bruiser Braswell,
Hell
Crab
yeah.
County's finest, Crab County, Georgia.
Yes, sir.
If you have to look for it, you don't need to know where it's at.
Not at all.
Yeah, we already know where. Yeah, we already know where it is.
Oh yeah.
Man, it's tough, man. So tough. He was one of those dudes that. Am I allowed to use adult language?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we're
on the Stranglehold podcast, bro. Hit it, bro.
Okay. He was one of those dudes that did not have to be fucking cool with me, but he was fucking cool. He was one of the coolest dudes I ever met before in my life. Especially connected to wrestling, because he was just so down to earth. He had all the right. Everybody may not say this, but I'll say this about him. He had all the right in the world because of his working ability in the ring. He had every right in the world to have an attitude about that, but he didn't.
No, he didn't. He was very humble.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, it is almost kind of like, some people have an incubation period. Some people you have to warm up to.
As soon as I met him and started talking to him, it's like we were long lost friends or brothers, man. We were just talking about like anything, just like not only do we have obviously a love for old school wrestling and current wrestling, but he's a big fan of outlaw country, so we had a connection there. And plus, he was he's a little bit younger than me, but he's like late 70s kid, so he was all in like late 70s and 80s hard rock, so we had that connection too.
Absolutely.
But, man, he was just a rad dude, man. I remember the first time I ever saw him, I went to, I guess, it had to be in like 99 or 2000. And it was right when I started hanging out, because, I'm a South Georgia boy. I got a lot of friends in North Carolina. Every time I see them, I say something, they laugh, and they say, man, you're so wicked as fuck, man. Southwest Georgia. Mm-hmm. But, let me see. I moved to Macon in like 2000, and I started going to AWN wrestling. It was called something different back when the Golden Eagle
IWA
was.
No, ICW.
ICW, yeah.
And then
ICW.
And then it became the AWA, right before AWN took over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
I think it was NAWA, but it may have been IC. You said early 2000.
It had to be either late 99, early 2000.
I think it was still ICW, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so too. I didn't start till it before.
Because I mean, when it became in AWA, Golden Eagle had it and turned it into NAWA. And then when Mike Money took over, it became AWN.
Sometime along that period.
Right.
But I remember, like, there was just a bunch of like random matches or whatever. And he was like in the main event going against somebody. It was the first time I ever see him wrestle. And I was just thinking to myself at that point, being a lifelong wrestling fan, I was like, man, if Shawn Michaels worked like Sean Waltman and was from South Georgia, it would be fucking Jake Slater.
Yeah.
Yep.
Especially back then. I mean, his style, like, over the years might have changed a little bit. When I first saw him, I was like, man, this dude's has this work rate, and he's at this flea market in the middle of nowhere. But I loved it. And from then, I probably seen him wrestle a couple of hundred times easy. After like a couple of years, we started getting closer or whatever. I remember one of the first times I felt like we had a connection. We were just hanging out at shows, random shows, might have been like Eastman or whatever. And after it was done, he walked up. He's like, "How did I do?" And I'm like, "Why is he asking me that?" This guy's a wrestler. He's been a wrestler like for a long time. But I was like, I guess he think I'm not a worker. Never claimed to be a worker, but I'm a huge fan. I guess he figures since I've been a fan so long, I know good when I see it.
That's true.
He valued my opinion.
Right.
It meant the freaking world to me. And fast forward to a couple of years later, when he started doing his country thing, he would hit me up and say, "Hey, I want to be here in your area playing. If you want to come check me out." I wasn't able to go to a bunch of them, but I went and saw him play a couple of times. And
yeah, I saw him a couple. I remember
wrestling nerds, but we were kind of outside the element, just being us.
Yeah, I remember going to
music, drinking or whatever.
I remember going to that Bahama Bob's out there and watching him play.
Right. It's just, man. Yeah, Eric sent me a message the other day, let me know about it. And I was like, man. I just don't know what to say.
Yeah, we're still trying to wrap our minds around it ourselves, bro.
None of us knew what to say.
It's
tough.
It's like, and I don't want to, and this is just my opinion, because nothing like this is ever like ever easy.
And on my end, I'm just like thinking, I miss my friend, but you know, the way he went out was outlaw country as fuck, man.
Yeah, you're right about that now.
You know, that's one thing. And, you know, I just really hope wherever the fuck that motherfucker is, I just hope he's fucking happy.
Yeah, we can,
And it pisses me off that he has to get me pissed off to be happy, but at the end of the day, that makes me happy too.
Right. Yeah, it's, just, it ain't right. Bottom line, it ain't right. It really ain't.
And I was like, you know, the other day, like every time, you know, Russell passes away, I usually try to make a post on Facebook, or you know, if I've met him before or something like that. And Facebook's freaking weird, man. Sometimes I'll post pictures, and I'll go back through my history to see if I could like find the picture, and they just fucking disappear. I can't find them. So I went on the Google the other day and just found like some random like pictures, and also went to Jake's Facebook page and posted up a couple things. But I looked all over my Facebook for a picture I had of me and him that we took at one of his shows he was doing. I couldn't find it. And a couple of days ago, Eric sends me a message, and they were, I guess, at his funeral. They were doing those video montage things they like to do. And lo and behold, that was the picture I was looking for.
Yep.
Man.
Yeah, he likes you, man. He even told me that, you know, because once he saw us talking one time on a show, it was like, oh, you guys know each other? I said, yeah, we work right next door.
Right.
Because that time, you know, I had that office in Centerville, and I was in there bothering you all the time, and you know, talking about wrestling and music, and just having a good time instead of worry about, you know, my stressful day.
Right.
And of course, the debut of the Pier 6 Brawlers, and then Tate Fist, and
right.
I had a lot of fun. Of course, he wrote that song, I Like to Hurt People, for Danny Horn, and he still plays that song to this day.
Man, Danny's another. If I could be so forward, I love old Chucky to death, man.
Well, he thanks the world of you. I hated that we had to see the way that we had to see each other at the funeral. You know, Sam Slaughter said, hey man, we got to stop meeting like this. We need to meet in more pleasant circumstances. You know, Sam Slaughter was there, Danny Horn, myself, Cue Ball, Big Mike Barfield was there.
Somebody was asking me about Sam the other day.
Yep, he was just on here a little bit ago.
Oh, nice.
He went 27 minutes and told something. I tell you what though.
27 minutes, Sam. Jesus Christ.
Hey man, I tell you what though. He's one of the best damn storytellers there is, and jogged a lot of memories for me, and I've always appreciated the hell out of that man.
Right.
And of course, you know, our very own Extreme Phenom was there.
Oh, nice.
It's like, damn, you know, we were just together for Mike's funeral. Now we're here for this. It's like, man, I just.
Right.
Oh, and guess what? I actually gave the sermon at Jake's funeral.
Oh, right on, man.
It's the first time I have ever given a eulogy at a funeral. First time in the whole world. I was flattered and honored at the same time. At the same time, it's just depressing to know who it was.
Right.
But I would like to think that the Jake's in a better place. You know, for all the kind of man that he was for all of us. You know, not just his biological family, but his extended family. You know, me, you, Q, just everybody that knew him. But listen, sincerely, brother, we appreciate the hell of you coming on board tonight.
Thanks, man. It's my honor, man.
And
don't miss that dude a whole bunch.
I hated we had to get together again on these circumstances. Next time, hopefully, we'll be in better spirits when we see each other, huh?
Right on, man.
I'm gonna send you a flyer.
Well, we can grab some spirits.
You damn right about that.
Some artificial spirits.
I'll pour you a mic money myself.
I'm about to go drink. I'm gonna go drink me about one more so I can take this away from Danny Horn officially. That's what I'm gonna do. And then I'm gonna do it in my sleep because, yeah, them days are done.
So, Alan, are you living up in North Georgia now?
That's right.
I am. I'm up here right now, my man. I took a job offer up here making a little over $50K a year.
Oh, wow.
Congrats.
That's good.
Yes, sir.
I'm getting ready to walk into something, hopefully by next week, that's going to be better than what I'm doing now. Because, you know, that's the one thing about, you know, today's world, people don't appreciate their people. But anyway, I'll see you soon, okay?
All right, man. Thanks for letting me be part of this. Love you guys. Y'all have a good evening.
You too, man. We'll holler at
Mondo
you.
in the house.
All right, man.
Yep.
Later. Hello, Eric Nelson, Manager Champions here. I'm at the legendary Praise the Lord Barbecue, located right here in Buford, Georgia. With me today is Mr. Ted Shoemaker, the hog boss himself, the owner, proprietor, and restaurateur of Praise the Lord Barbecue.
Praise the Lord Barbecue is just a good old home cooking meat and two where the meat is barbecue. We cook like your mama did. If your mama wouldn't do it, we wouldn't do it either. We won't own a microwave, we don't own a freezer. Come on and get some of this good freshness.
My personal favorite at Praise the Lord Barbecue, legendary brisket, full beef mac and cheese, not to mention these mouth-watering cold fries. So come on down here for Praise the Lord Barbecue, 1350 Buford Highway, Buford, Georgia. You'll be fed like a legend. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for one more Jake Slater story for the evening. Now,
Favorite one of the night right here.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you, chances are with the interest that we're getting and with the momentum that this is getting, we might end up doing it. Well, we are going to do part 2 tomorrow. So stay tuned because 7 p.m. tomorrow we're going to do part 2. But without further ado, class of 2020 Hall of Famer.
And my partner.
And one half of the greatest, well, second greatest commentary team of all time next to myself and Michael Scott. Give it up for Dirty Don, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. What's up, fellas?
What is up, brother? Now, you know, one of the things I've always said, you know, and I've known you since way before wrestling was ever a reality for any of us.
Oh, yeah.
And you've always been one of the greatest storytellers ever. Hell, you even got me out of a couple jams with the cops for that storytelling.
Well, first of all, I gotta say, Q, you know, that Warzone belt didn't look quite as good on you. Why don't you go over there and grab that Stranglehold championship belt and put that one on?
Yeah, you go right ahead. And when one Phenom comes looking for your ass, I'm gonna get out of the way.
Hey, that's the only difference there. I remember my matches with Danny, and then I remember my match with Phenom, and that's all I need to remember, my man. I might have came away with the W and retained my belt that night, but god damn.
That is definitely an experience for what you have at least once.
Well, you were in my group at the time and the running commissioner, so you know we made sure we did not have a rematch because my title reign was going to be over. Shit.
Man, he takes it to a different level.
Yeah, you wore that ass looking good, didn't you, boy?
I was sitting here listening to y'all talk to Sam, talking about him going 27 minutes. That dude could go and not even break a sweat and change the same way, you know?
Yeah, that's what his wife said.
Man.
Props, Sam.
Jesus Christ. Never a dull moment, folks. This is why we do what we do.
Oh yeah, no doubt. You know, when you called me the other day, man, I was so shocked about that. You know, that's
yeah.
one of the guys I looked up to in this business when I first started in. Because, you know, I mean, I don't think he started that much more before me. I'm not exactly sure, but he was butter smooth from day one, man. I mean,
oh God, yeah.
When did you start, Dirty?
Started was right there. I looked up to him. So.
When did you start, Dirty?
I was actually. I started with the ICW. We was involved in that whole thing going, me, Spaz, Pitbull, and all that. Got with George Thorpe, and they got us over with Alton, and you know we kind of all trained together. David Smith, anyways, and then we just all kind of built it up together, and so I started with that group right there in there. And Spruce Street Gym was my first show.
I want to say that was
what Sam was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say they were talking about 99, 2000. So that's about the time frame you probably started, which was about 4 years before I did.
Okay, so that's good there. So it's still ICW back, so that makes sense because it was NAWA not long before I joined. Because
right. That's kind of when we had all the blow up with David that Eagle took over, and we had left for a little while just because all the little stuff going on behind the scenes right there. We kind of packed up and went east for a little while and worked mainly for a while. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I remember when I joined, you guys had only been in 1361 Peach Parkway 2 shows when I came along.
Right.
So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That time frame makes a lot of sense.
Yep. So we hadn't been doing it real long. That was probably we got in there probably 9 months after we started because we did Spruce Street for about 2 months I think, and then just got to be a little much there. Then we did the parking lot for a while out there in front of the food depot, and that was a lot of fun because our training room, our training area was one of the in that building right there. So we just turned that into a locker room and do shows in the parking lot. And just had no overhead or nothing like that. It was kind of nice, except it started getting cold. So
yeah.
We moved. I think we did like one more show at the Peach Outlet, and then we moved into the building.
That's right. Cause y'all were on show number 2 in that building when I moved down here to join you guys.
Right.
So yeah, like I said, definitely a hard pill to swallow for us all. But like I said, give me one of your best Jake stories, man. I know you got one.
If not a few.
Well, I got a few, but probably one of my first, things really getting to know Jake and one of my first interactions with him. When we first started, me, Spaz, and kind of Pitbull at the time, and then there was another guy in the group named Gabriel or whatever, but we all like to make fun. That was when we was running the Rebellion gig, and we like to make fun of everybody. So we would steal their outfits, supposedly, or we would dress up like them and then go out and make fun of them. Well, y'all was mentioning Danny and Jake was running together earlier there for a while. So Spaz had went and got a baby diaper and put it on and was sitting in a stroller. And George Thorpe's daughter was pushing him around. And before we went out, I went and asked Jake, I'm like, Jake, man, can I borrow your leather jacket and your sunglasses for a while? And he's like, man, whatever you want to, you gonna make fun of me? I don't know about this, Don. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'll do you right. And so he gave me his leather jacket and his sunglasses, and I told the wig and put it up in a ponytail. And so she's out there pushing Spaz, sucking a bottle around the ring during Danny's match, and I think Jake was even ringside or something. And around the ring, and I was walking like 5 feet behind him, just throwing my hair to the side and running my hands through it, to the other side, and he's strutting through there. And I swear to God, Jake almost broke his face while we was out there. Because you see him kind of put his head down in the corner just a little bit. And we get to the back, and he says, oh my God, dude, I was about to die because you're doing that. Thank you. Because, we had all kind of people coming, you going to do us next? You going to do us next? They told me what they wanted to do. I'm like, shit, let me see if I can do Jake, I think my favorite one, though, it wasn't Jake, but I got to tell it since he was on earlier. My favorite one that we made fun of, we was in a parking lot at the food depot, and we decided to make fun. Osborne and Sam was a tag team at that time, and I think we was facing them later in the night. And it was me, Spaz, and Gabriel, Fred Brown. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah.
But anyway, he probably know Fred. But anyways, so we dressed up like Osborne and Sam. So denim shirt with the cut off sleeves and Fred had stuffed like 3 pillows in the shirt. And Spaz had put on a halter top and stuffed toilet paper down in it. And for Osborne's old lady. And she even walked up and she said, I think you're giving me more credit than I deserve. But we went out there and we started cutting a promo, and every time we had to say something, I was like, if you want to mess with us, that'd be a mistake. And Fred leaned over and go, you got steak. And then I'd be like, you know, and it doesn't matter. You know, starting around some potatoes, he'd go, you got potatoes too? Hell yeah, we about to grill out. You know, and he was handing honey buns out to the crowd and reaching back and snatching them back out their hands. We was dying. Jake thought that was pretty funny that night too, but I had to tell that story about Sam and them. And, you know, just because it kind of fit with the other thing. We used to do some crazy stuff, but you know, that was the thing about Jake I remember too, is, you know, me and him we worked each other occasionally there at the beginning, and then we tagged in Dublin once, and I'll tell a story about how Minutes involved Sam again there too. But the thing about Jake is, you know, I don't know if he did it for everybody, but he always seemed to meet me at the curtain and let me know, hey, great match, man, you know, and then he'd tell me a few things that I could change about the match, you know, hey,
we've definitely heard that a lot tonight.
What was going on in that spot? You know, he'd pick my brain to see what I was doing. And then he would always find me when I was in the locker room, too, to ask my opinion about his matches, which I always thought was a huge compliment myself, you know?
Yeah, Jake didn't never meet at the curtain unless you weren't worth a fuck, so sorry. No, I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing.
If you was worth something, right?
No, I said if you weren't worth the fuck. That's when he met you at the curtain.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine, man. I needed all the help back then I could get, you know.
No, man, no.
I got about all the mouth, not necessarily always the wrestling skills, you know.
No, and out of all respect, though, for real, and I know I've been drinking a shit ton tonight, but out of all respect, Jake really never talked negative about anybody.
That is true. He's always humble.
Right.
And if he met you at the curtain, I mean, that's good. I usually met him in the back after we got changed and everything, and we were on the car ride home. I was excited for the car ride home, if you know what I meant.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, it was always a good time. Whether you knew Jake Slater was on the show, you knew he was going to be late unless he had that ring rental. If he had that ring rental, he was going to be there 2-3 hours early. So you were good then. But if he was trying to double shoot and make shows, you knew you were going to get Jake Slater late, but you were going to get him.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, we're all going to miss him. That's for damn sure.
Damn sure. You was talking about he didn't talk bad about nobody. You know, I mean, you really didn't, but I don't know what it would be like to be a trainee under Jake, because I went down one time to go to the Fire Ant Festival. Jake was putting on a show in the middle of the field. They had a mechanical bull out in the yard. You remember that? Did you know?
I was there. The Fire Ant Festival. I remember that too well. Let me pour another drink.
Oh, yeah. I'm drinking a little bourbon and Coke with y'all there. So.
You already
know. But anyways, so I show up at the Fire Ant Festival, and like where we're in the gym is like a mile.
You be told, right?
And I go walking in that gym. Of course, I walk in, say my hellos, walk up to Jake, and I'm like, what you want me to do, Jake? He's like, I got you working one of my trainees. I don't even remember who it is at the time. I know it wasn't Christian, but I can't remember who it was. And I'm like, so what you want us to do? He said, do whatever you want dirty, and if you don't listen, beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, that is totally Jake right there, man.
But yeah, man, I mean, Jake.
So it had to be Kidman, right?
Do what?
So it had to be Kidman, right?
No, it wasn't Kidman. I don't think he had started yet, or he was doing something else in the show. I don't really remember what was going on with Kidman that night.
You don't remember who it was, do you?
I don't. I think it was the little skinny black kid that he had, the real skinny black kid. Like
Jay Stacker.
Smaller than Ricky Silver.
Jay Stacker.
Yep, that was him.
Yeah. Jay Stacker. I like that. He was pretty good guy.
Yeah, he was a good little worker.
Yeah, he's taking it pretty hard, too. I spoke to him the other day, and he's like, man, I'm just finding out all this. He's like, holy cow. He was beside himself.
Yeah. Man, I wanted to go down there with y'all, but like I was telling you, I had my daughter come down with COVID. She'd been in the house, and I couldn't get into testing yet. And luckily, I got my test results back. I didn't have it, but I didn't want to come down there and spread the weight.
Infect everybody.
Yeah, that ain't no shit.
Understand that, my man.
But, you know, I know you were there in spirit, Dirty.
Dang sure, man, because that was, like I said, that was one of my guys, man. I love Jake. Jake was awesome.
You know, I remember when I started.
Anybody that has anything bad to say about it.
I remember when I started running, and I came to you. I said, "Well, who should be my booker?" And you said, "Shit, Jake Slater." So if you don't make him booker, you're fucking doing it wrong. Those were your words.
Connections, knows the business, knows how to run a show. So got everything you need right there.
So I learned it from right there, my man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all got.
I don't know if y'all talked about this a lot, but one of the most unfair things in Central Georgia is when Jake Slater joined KILE.
Yep.
Am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
I mean, I looked at that, you know, because I've always thought really highly of Mike Stratus, you know. Camo was in it, I think, about that time. Chaos, I don't remember if he was still there. He had already left and kind of did his own thing at that point. But when the first show I went to, when I seen that Stratus and freaking Jake was tagging, I'm like, they're going to ram shot everybody. They're just going to outwork them. They're going to look amazing, you know, and that was just crazy. I mean, that was my favorite period of Jake. That grease ball era was amazing.
Yeah, I actually have a picture of them with the tag belts. I just have to find my scrapbook. I haven't come across it lately.
Yeah, one of my most memorable moments going back to, you know, the KI Elite, because everybody knows how historical, you know, they were in Georgia. I mean, they were. Jody Peterman booked us down in my hometown of Cordele and actually put me and Ricky Silver over on the KI Elite in the tournament. And, like, I couldn't believe it that night. And I was like, wow. And, like, Jake and Mike did it with respect and everything. And, man, it was a great night in Cordele that night. But that was one of my fondest memories of Jake as well, and him and Mike putting us over as the KI Elite that night. And hell, me and Ricky Silver, we didn't team nowhere but there. But
right.
I mean, it was the point, the principle, and who it was. And Jake had worked with him.
That was the thing. If Jake wouldn't ask questions, he wasn't one of those people that was really worried about, you know, he wanted to go out and have a good match and look good and make it make sense. That was what he was worried about.
That's exactly
He didn't care if he went over or under.
Oh, yeah.
I always went over because everybody respected him and knew that he could carry that heel role.
You know, I used to
in wrestling is a strong heel, and Jake could pull that off.
I used to hear him say that. I used to hear him say this all the time. It's not about going over; it's about getting over. He would always say that. I heard him tell a lot of guys this. You know, because there was a lot of guys worried about their characters getting buried or my spot this and my spot that, and Jake's like, it's not about going over; it's about getting over.
Right.
And you know, if Jake hadn't stepped away.
I didn't care what the boys in the back thought, whether I popped in, whether they thought it was even a good match. But if that crowd was into it, hating me and hating on me, I did my job that night, you know?
That's it. Facts. That's why you were Dirty Don.
Yep. Man. So I got one more for you, and then I'll pretty much be done with my Jake story. So
go ahead.
Coming back to about the time that we had left Fort Valley, we went and wrestled at GPW over there in Dublin for John Corsi, and they had me and Jake tag versus Bob Wire and Sam.
Oh, okay.
So you know about when they, and that was early in their group. You know, when they first started. What was the name of their?
What was the name of Sam Slaughter and Bob Wire's group? I remember this, but it's like...
No, it wasn't SlaughterPit.
I thought they were going under, like, the New Money Inc. banner.
It may have been.
They had some name. All I can remember is they come out to Godsmack. Because I'd, like, groove every time they come out.
Were they teaming with Hunter there, too, or what?
I think at that time it was just the two of them. Hunter had not started in the business. Hunter didn't start for another... 6 months to a year after that.
Yeah, that's about right, because I remember when Hunter started coming around.
Huh.
Right, because we started in Dublin. Hunter really didn't start till we started really working Swainsboro with GPW. I think he did a little bit in Dublin, him and Romeo, Kid Romeo, or Romeo, whatever his name was.
Yeah, but, Kid Romeo.
Hunter really got in over towards Swainsboro and stuff, which was 6 months to a year after we debuted over there. but anyways, so we're wrestling Bob and Sam, and of course, I don't think I've ever had a bad match with Sam. And you know, the match is flowing, and so I end up, of course, taking the heat. So Bob and Sam are switching off on me because, you know, they're running the bad guy gimmick at the time. And this is my first show in Dublin. I think the only reason we got over there was because of Spaz. So they just kind of threw me and Jake together. And so, you know, it was rolling pretty good. We got our baby heat going and all that, but I started taking heat in the match. And Bob Wire has me down on the ground, me in my back, arm behind my head, and puts my thumb in his mouth and starts, like, wrenching on it. And so I'm pulling the crap out of me. You know me, I'm an overseller. You know, that's one thing I always did is make sure you knew I was getting worked over. And
he oversells more than Kurt Hennig.
Screaming, and then all of a sudden Bob starts biting even harder on my finger. And he literally left bite impressions on the web of my thumb. But so we get done and we get in the back, and I walk up to Bob. I said, "What the fuck, Bob?" I'm like, "I'm sitting there selling the shit out of you, and you fighting the shit out of me, bro. What's up with that?" He's like, "I just wanted to make sure you was gonna sell." And Jake just looks deadpan in him. Well, did he? Damn, Bob. I mean, it was just a look on his face. I know it probably don't sound as funny as it was. It was just on Jake's face at the time, just shocked that Bob was fighting the shit out of somebody that didn't sell. And then he laughs his ass off about it.
About the shit on him? That's it. That's that look. Well, listen, Dirty, we hate to cut it short, but we'll do part 2 tomorrow. If you want to come on and tell anything else, let me know. You're definitely welcome.
You're about 5 minutes away from tying Sam Slaughter.
Hey, man, just another thought, you know. This is a great little concept. Why don't we got to start doing this for people that's died? Why don't we pick a subject and have people call in and tell the best stories about people while they're still here and can hear them? You know what I'm saying?
Well, we need
that'd be pretty awesome.
We need a bigger checkbook for that, because we're gonna have to start booking a bunch of shit once we start doing that.
You ain't lying about that shit.
Oh yeah.
Well, brother, it's always an honor and a privilege. You know.
Definitely.
I will be seeing you again soon. Can't wait. Let me know when you're filling up the company down there. I'll swing by and see you.
Oh, how was Schultz's the other day, by the way?
Oh my God, dude. Dude, I had
jalapeno burger they got.
I had a bacon cheeseburger with a grape ape, dude. Man.
Oh yeah, can't beat it. So, all right, man. Next time you come down, maybe we'll slide over that way.
That sounds good, brother.
Thanks.
Hey, man, love y'all too.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Dirty Don.
All right, Dirty.
See you later, brother.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Bye.
All righty.
Wow. Wow.
Yep. Well, hell, it's getting toward 10 o'clock tonight, so we're gonna wrap this up for the night. We'll catch you guys again.
7 o'clock tomorrow.
7 o'clock tomorrow.
Part 2.
We'll do a few more.
Or as they say, part 2.